Welcome to your restorative class. My name is Sandra, and I would actually like to have us starting out on our backs, if you don't mind. So come on down. Perfect. Go ahead and stretch out the legs as though we were going to start in Shavasana. Don't get super excited yet, though. And then let's let the hands rest on the abdomen. Close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then a really strong inhale through the nose. Loud exhale. And then just being very aware, when you get rid of that cleansing exhale, the lungs just seem to automatically refill with an inhale. And I want you to notice that. So empty out the lungs completely. Slow, deep inhale through the nose. Cleansing exhale. And then let go. It's like a peaceful rebounding of the breath. And then take your hands to your heart in prayer pose to set your intention for your practice and your day. And then when you're ready, go ahead and interlace the fingers. Send the arms overhead, the palms away from you. Get a good stretch here. And then keeping the fingers interlaced, let's take the arms straight up towards the ceiling as though the palms are holding the ceiling up. Lift the shoulders way up high off the mat. And then when you get to an exhale, slowly set the shoulders back down. And then from here, I'm just going to let the arms move to the left a little bit. That left wrist is going to stop you. You're going to know exactly when to stop. We're keeping the shoulders down. There should be a stretch right in the tendons of that left forearm. And then slowly come through center. Veer to the right. And then back to center. Turn the palms towards your heart as you bend the elbows and bring the hands back down to rest on the abdomen, keeping the fingers interlaced. So today's theme is about Nataraja. That is Shiva in his dancing form. And the reason I chose this theme is because it seems his story, especially with the symbolism in the statue, seems to parallel a lot of what I see going on in our external world lately. And I kind of wanted to share the story so that you could maybe see how it fits into your world, take what you like from the story, see what you can incorporate where the learning lesson is, and, let go of what doesn't seem to apply to you. All right, let's go back to focusing on the breath for a moment. Close your eyes, deepen that breath. And then let's go ahead and hug the knees into the heart. And plant both feet down on the mat, knees bent, feet are hip distance apart. If you have a block nearby, go ahead and grab it, slide it over. Of course, mine is a farthest possible place from where I was when I said that, but that's okay. Go ahead and extend the arms down alongside the body. Keep your neck neutral, gaze up, and then go ahead and lift the hips into bridge. So one of the things that caught my attention, or really brought to my mind the story of Nataraja, is someone had posted this picture on Facebook that I reshared of the stadium of a baseball game during the Spanish flu, and everyone was wearing masks. And, you know, that reminds us that history repeats itself. History is cyclical, as is life. And that pertains to the Nataraja statue, which I'll show you in a moment. Deep inhale, lift a little higher, and then grab that block as you exhale. Let's come on down into supported bridge. Relax and let go. So in supported bridge, of course, you decide how high the hips are being supported. You could turn your block at whatever height you like. If you're not using a block, you have a lot of options to put underneath the sacrum. If you have blood pressure issues, of course, you should be very careful about having the head below the heart. So know if this pose is okay for you. And if it's not, just take that prop out from underneath you and relax on the ground. And then I'm going to let my hands hang on to that block or whatever prop you're using. It's just so it can't slip out from under us. And then go ahead and lift one knee into the air. And we start with one knee so that we can get our balance. Add the second knee when you're ready. And then let's stretch both legs all the way up. So I like to call this imaginary legs up the wall. And then, of course, if you feel stable on your prop, you can let go with the hands. I just wanted it there in case you needed to do some wiggling to get balance. Go ahead and flex both feet. Imagine these lines of energy going from the hips all the way up the legs and into the feet. So we're pushing energy out through the soles of both feet. Spread the toes wide. Perhaps you draw the toes down a little bit closer towards you. And then, I don't know, let's make this option A. Stay right here if this is where you're happy. Option B, you know, if you have more room to spare, you might let the legs pull forward towards you just a little bit. So you'll end up kind of rolling on the outer edge of that block. Remember, this is just an option and you don't have to go here. And then if you took option B, let's bring both legs straight back up towards the ceiling. I'm going to keep the right leg here. I'm going to bend the left leg first. Let the left foot find the earth. And then you can decide if you want to keep that leg bent or if you want to go ahead and straighten it out. That's a little bit more challenging. So decide what's right for you. You can, in fact, interlace the hands behind that right thigh if it makes life easier. If you have a strap, you could go ahead and lasso that right foot to help you hang on to it. Now lengthen through both legs. And then will you engage the core here so that the back is not doing the work here? I want to slowly lift this left leg back up all the way towards the right leg. And then, of course, if you're hanging onto that right leg, let it go. Bend the right leg, set that foot down on the ground first. Option A is right here. Option B will be to extend the right leg. Again, you can use your hands if you want to hold on to the left. And then let's lengthen out through the legs. Engage the core, very carefully lift that right leg all the way back up. And then hug the knees into the heart. Perfect. Let's go ahead and set the feet down. Gently lift the hips up. Slide whatever prop you have underneath you out from underneath the sacrum. Release to the earth and hug the knees back in. And this time, rock it out. When you're ready, roll to your side in a fetal position. Hang out there for a moment. I want to come a little closer because I think it's going to be very helpful for you to see the Nataraja statue. So you have a visual of it as we're talking about it. And then go ahead and make your way back up. Oh, my camera likes to mess with the light when I get that close. Hopefully it'll readjust. Anyway, this is Shiva, but in dancer form. So it's called Nataraja. And what I want you to notice is the circle that Shiva's encased in. These are flames. And that he's standing on a little dwarf. There, my light went back on, so let's see if I can get him closer to you. That circle represents the cyclical nature of life. The Hindu belief that life is never ending, yeah? So, go ahead and take the legs into cobbler. Sit up nice and tall. And then go ahead and draw the knees up a little bit. And exhale them back down. Inhale the knees up. And exhale down. Do that 2 more times. So the story behind Nataraja is that Shiva entered a kind of like a field where there was a group of sages who perhaps weren't acting very nobly. They were dabbling in black magic. And so he disguised himself as a vagrant peasant. And the sages were not happy with his presence, but they couldn't get him to leave. And an argument ensued. Go ahead, either sit up tall here or come into a fold. And if you're taking the fold, if you want to prop out in front of you to rest the forehead on, you could grab something. You don't have to. Well, that argument kind of morphed into a fight. And the sages created all sorts of nasty beasts and weapons to try to get rid of this peasant who they didn't know was Shiva at the time. So Shiva then morphs into Nataraja. And when they see this, of course the sages are alarmed that they have been attacking Shiva. There's a lot of great symbolism to this statue. And a lot of it is reminding me of just, the environment as of late. And so I thought this would be a great story to tell because you might find an analogy from it within your world. And so we'll kind of break down everything going on in this statue. If you took that fold, go ahead and come back up. And then let's release cobbler. Go ahead, grab your bolster. Let's bring it out vertically behind you. I'm going to prop this up. And then let's also grab the blanket. It doesn't really matter how it's folded. There we go. All right. So go ahead and sit back right up against that bolster and then make your way down. I just want to take that folded blanket and rest it on my hips. Just a little comforting extra weight right there. Close your eyes. So you can either keep the legs straight. If you would prefer to take them back into cobbler, you certainly can. You might need props underneath the knees or thighs. You could take the legs into Sukhasana, easy pose. Totally up to you. But whatever you decide, make sure you're happy and comfortable and close your eyes. So the flames that are going around the circle, they represent destruction. Shiva is known as the destroyer. But of course, he does have this unique ability to be all things. So he can be creator, preserver, and destroyer. So he has 4 arms. they represent the 4 directions. And in his top right hand, he's holding Agni, fire, right? Flame, that symbolism of destruction. In his top left hand, did I say that backwards? I did say that backwards. Switch that around. His right hand is holding a drum. His left hand is holding the fire. The drum represents creation, the beat of creation, yeah? And so I find it interesting that he's holding the dead opposites in each hand, right? And so without getting too deep, philosophical, poetical, I made that word up, I believe. Think about what's going on in the world outside. There is destruction, there's also creation. And how are you reacting to that? Now, as you lie here with your eyes closed, let's consider that perhaps the destruction aspect is within us, is the stuff we want to get rid of, the stuff we've been carrying around, pulling around, throwing over our shoulders. And then the creation aspect is what opens up to possibility when we do decide to let go of baggage. So, without becoming attached to the emotion of it or the meaning of it, just think of one thing you know you should have already let go of by now. We're not getting attached to the emotion. Do not go to whatever the reason is you've hung on to it. Just as though you were a witness, just come up with that one thing. And can you feel the weight of that thought? Perhaps you feel it in your heart. Maybe it feels like it's sitting on your chest. There's a heaviness to that because it's a negative energy, frankly, right? If it's something we know we should have let go of, it has a negative energy. Now, imagine, should you decide that today's the day to let that go, the lightness that would enter. Something has to fill that space, right? It would be this immense, awesome, blissful sense of lightness. And then, what would that evolve into? That's the creation aspect. You'd be free to explore something new. So I want you to think what that thing is, what that one thing is. If you had the space inside, the energy inside to create one thing that's new, what would it be? And then, we've talked often about communication between the heart and the head. So finding a way to get into that space inside, can you be completely honest with yourself as you answer this question? And frankly, it doesn't matter how you answer it to me, as long as you're answering it honestly to you. Is this the day you're ready to let go? And if it's not, maybe it's tomorrow. There's no judgment. There's no beating ourselves up over the answer. We already know how great it's going to feel when we do let go. It just might not be today. But if you did answer yes, let's work towards that. So by the time we get to Shavasana, life is just bliss. All right, go ahead and set that blanket aside. If you've got the legs in any type of bent position, let's go ahead and stretch them out for a moment. Stretch the arms overhead. Perfect. And then flex the feet, take the arms up towards the ceiling and let that momentum slowly pull you all the way back up. Okay, let's move the bolster, keep a block. While we're sitting for a moment, Shiva's bottom right hand is in a Abhaya Mudra, which we've done many times in class, right? It looks like this. That right hand is dispelling fear. It's pushing it out of your space. There is a lot of fear, right, going on in the world right now. And how is that entering your personal space? Perhaps there's a fear that has entered that has nothing to do with what's going on in the world. And so that's how I want you to take what I'm saying about the statue and apply it to your life. Yeah, if there's something else that has brought up fear, is that what we're going to let go of? That's totally up to you, right? Okay, take that block. I want to come onto the left hip and then very slowly come down over that block. Move you out of the way a little. I want to get this block right under my rib cage. You might have to do some finagling to make that comfortable. So I've kind of, you can't see this, but mine's more at an angle to support the ribs. It is stopping me from sinking. Yeah, and then I'm just perched up on that left elbow. I'm going to straighten out both legs, get my bolster out of the way. Perfect. So from here, right hand is going to come around behind me. I'm going to catch the right foot. Oh, I'm just running into every prop I own. Grab that foot. Let's see if we can get the thighs and the knees together. That might not occur. It's okay if it doesn't. Yeah. And then I'm just gently pulling that right heel in. So remember I said that the sages created a bunch of beasts and weapons to try to get rid of this peasant that had entered their space. One of the things they created was a demon. That demon is whom Shiva, Nataraja, is standing on, that little dwarf. That dwarf represents ignorance and arrogance. Okay, so I'm going to let go of the foot. I'm going to keep the knee bent. I'm going to open the hip and draw the knee in. And I really do think that, I think the word ignorance is sometimes mistakenly put in the thesaurus of the mind with the word stupid or stupidity. It's not the same thing at all. Ignorance is just a lack of knowledge until we have it, right? And see about grabbing that top foot. If you can't reach it, don't worry about it. We're going to straighten this leg up towards the ceiling. So wherever you can grab on is great. Breathe. And then slowly release. Bring that right hand back down to support you. I want to turn this block now from its medium height to its lowest, and I'm going to tuck it further in towards my hip and come into a little supported side bend. Again, you might have to do some wiggling here to get that block to be a comfortable place to be perched upon. If you can't stand this, you can substitute the block with your blanket or sweatshirt or pillow. If you're having trouble keeping your balance, go ahead and bend the knees slightly. And then close your eyes and focus on filling the lungs with that breath. With your eyes closed, can you imagine that Nataraja's circle of flames is around your mat? And it in no way infers danger. It is more that I wanted you to feel the warmth of it and the beauty of it. Can you see the dancing flames? Can you see their scattered light moving around your mat, perhaps even moving across your body? that fire element is a very solar plexus, third chakra element. And the third chakra has to do with control. So think about what we've already said. We've talked about fear, Abhaya Mudra. We've talked about, well, the cyclical nature of life and history. We've talked about creation and destruction. Can you see where control enters in? Most usually when we feel like we've lost control, fear steps in. Or perhaps a little friend named worry. It can take control of your mind if you allow it to. So this is where I'm seeing really all aspects of Nataraja seem to be floating around in the world right now. It's kind of interesting how the story is so old, yet so appropriate. All right, go ahead and slowly make your way back up. We're coming all the way up. I'm just going to switch this block to the other side. You could turn over if that's easier for you. So block's at its medium height. I'm going to angle it underneath my ribs, straighten out my legs. I'm perched up onto that right elbow. When you're ready, the left hand is reaching downward for that left foot. Draw it in. You know, the thing about ignorance is that I truly believe that we all do the best we can at any given time in our lives with the tools we have at that point. And of course we can learn and we can gather more tools, right, as we grow and learn. But, you know, I might know a lot more now than I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but on the same token, there are things I don't know that I'm going to 5, 10, 15 years into the future. So we do the best we can with the knowledge we have at any given time. And so I don't feel like judgment should enter into the conversation about this little dwarf friend here that Nataraja is standing on. Go ahead, release that leg, keep the knee bent, open up the hip, draw the knee in. And when you're ready, go ahead and send that leg up towards the ceiling. You can grab on wherever you want. I'm just looking at this statue in front of me. There's so much going on. We're going to get to it. I'm assuming you're probably turned sideways, and I don't want to really point out things on the statue when I don't think you're facing forward, so we'll get to it. Go ahead, release that leg gently. Turn the block to a lower height. Push it in towards your hip. Come on down into that supported side bend, and of course bend the knees if you want to. That'll offer you more support. Let's go back to visualizing the circle of flames around us. Can you picture the oranges and the yellows all kind of mixing in with each other? Maybe there's an element of red. And again, I think about when I'm picturing this in my head, that the flames are wild. I don't feel like, even though I'm adding the color, that I have control over the color necessarily, because the flames are moving and the colors are dancing, right? That yellow color is the solar plexus color. So again, let go of control over the image. If you have a difficult time visualizing, let go of control over that. Just be. We're letting go of judgment. We're doing the best we can at this very moment. Let's take a deep breath. When you're ready, come on up. Set that block aside. I'm going to keep the right leg bent in front of me. I'm opening the left leg off to the side. And then let's just make sure we're evenly balanced on both sit bones. Flex the left foot. Gently push the back of the left leg down. And let's just hold that for a moment while we look at our friend here. So the supporting leg is standing on this dwarf that represents ignorance. The leg that comes across, the dancing leg, right, symbolizes grace amidst chaos. Isn't that good? Grace amongst chaos. There is a lot of chaos out there. I keep pointing because my window is that way. I'm referencing the external world. There's a lot of chaos out there. How are you reacting to it? You might have chaos in your inner world. How are you reacting to it? So we're looking for this reminder to be present with grace and gratitude. So while we have that in mind, right hand in front, left hand behind you, sit up nice and tall, turn the heart towards that left leg and come on down. Let's find a happy place here. If you have a prop nearby and you want that to rest your forehead on, you decide how tall that needs to be. Maybe it's just resting your cheek, right? Totally up to you. Can you lengthen the crown of your head towards the top of the left foot anymore? And then I'm going to use my hands to slide back in towards me first. As they push the ground away, drop the head round through the spine and slowly come back up and back to center. Close your eyes. Relax the left foot. Deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. And then let's switch legs. So one of the other things that I like about this particular statue is often Shiva as Nataraja is just wearing like a loincloth, and then this piece is a sash that moves its way out kind of in the wind. You know, he's moving, he's dancing, comes out towards the edge of the circle. To me, it makes me think about filling up your space. You know, moving in all directions, taking advantage of everything. He's not stoically just standing there, right? He is expressing himself in all directions to grab onto the fullest aspect of life. Are you? Left hand in front, right hand behind you. Sit up tall, turn towards that right leg and come on down. And then again, let's really try to lengthen wherever you're at in the fold, extending the crown chakra towards the top of that right foot. And then slide the hands in, let the head be heavy as you push the ground away round through the spine. to come all the way back up. Find center. Close your eyes. Relax the right foot. Deep breath in. This time hold it. Big exhale. Perfect. And then I want to come on down onto our stomachs. Let's go ahead and plant the hands. Slide them underneath the shoulders. And then let's find Cobra wherever that is for you. So it could be just a little lift. It could be halfway up. It could be all the way up. Remember, all the way does not mean locking the elbows and bringing the shoulders up. But find Cobra, Bhujangasana, because I want to talk about this pose for a moment. So settle in, smile, be happy. There are a lot of cobras in the Nataraja statue. The cobras represent drawing humans towards ignorance and arrogance. I want to let that one sink in for a second. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly come down. Pause here. Now, when you do come back up in Cobra, I want you to imagine that you are the snake. You are flaring out to the sides. You are becoming bigger to look more imposing. Wait for an inhale. Come on up. Can you see how you might attract the attention of others? And so that's what the cobras are representing. They're trying to distract you. If you have a hard time tapping into your intuition and listening to the heart, perhaps you might be more susceptible to following them on their path. Have you followed a cobra on its path recently? Are you heading in the wrong direction? Exhale, come on down. Let's push back into child's pose to think about this. I'll take a few more breaths right there. And then slowly walk your hands in so you can sit back on the heels for a moment. Grab a prop and put that between your ankles so you can sit more comfortably. So I don't usually do Natarajasana in a restorative class. The pose would be standing on one leg, one hand reaching behind you for the other leg, opposite arm extended, and then coming into a fold. So the legs extending one way, other arms extending the other way. You are balanced on one leg. So can you see where that comes from? The supporting leg here. You cannot just go into Natarajasana haphazardly. It needs to be a slow movement of balance, right? That's this grace through chaos. If we fall out of the pose, dancer pose, we fall out of it. How do we get back up? That is what I want you to think about. So I also want you to grab a strap if you have one handy. If you do not have a strap, don't worry about it. Just we can simulate the same tension in the arms. So I want to take this a little wider than the shoulders. So if I don't have a strap, I'm right here. And then inhale, slowly take the arms up. But I want you to imagine you're pulling on a strap if you don't have one, so that there is tension in the arms. Drop the shoulders up at the top. And then when you get to the next exhale, let's come on back down. So I'm going to pick my strap back up. You keep going if you don't have one. It's all good. Inhale, take the arms up. Soften the shoulders, hold it here. Wait for the next exhale. Keep the tension, come on back down. Inhale, both arms up. Hold it here. Left arm is going to pull the right arm to the ear. And then take that left arm and just let it pivot or swing behind you a little bit. And then slowly bring that left arm back up, arms into a V. Take it to the other side. So the right hand's going to pull the left arm straight up and then just pivot that arm back. Wherever that arm goes, I keep kind of running into my wall, but wherever you end up is all good. Inhale, both arms back up. Exhale them down. No rest yet. Keep pulling on that strap. Inhale, take the arms up. Widen them out a little bit. Let's see about the arms drawing behind. Not all the way back and down, just coming out behind the head. Breathe. Feel the shoulder blades perhaps drawing together. Breathe into the front space. Breathe into the collarbone and the heart. And then back up. Exhale the arms down. We will let go of the strap here. Shake out the arms and take the shoulders in some circles. Maybe one at a time, maybe both. Perfect. Grab your strap again. Take it with the right arm heading up. The strap's dropping behind you. So bringing the arms into cow face. That left arm is coming behind you. Right hand bends down behind you. If the fingers can find each other, you can let go of the strap. Otherwise, you're just feeding that strap through the fingers until it's taut. One elbow reaching up, one elbow reaching down. Keep breathing. Gomukhasana arms. Deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. Very softly, let go of the arms. Very gently, thoughtfully. Roll the shoulders a couple of times. You choose the direction. Maybe you're switching. And then take that strap into the other hand. Left arm up. That strap is going to drop down behind you. As the right hand bends and reaches behind you, bend that top arm. When you found your happy place, one elbow up, one pulling down. Breathe. We talked about how Shiva holds destruction in one hand and creation in the other. Polar opposites. The elbows right now are representing the polar opposites. Really extend through each of them in totally different directions. Inhale. Loud exhale. Again, very carefully release the arms out of this pose. Shake them out. I want to draw that right arm across the chest. Soften. Oop, my shoulder just popped. Soften the shoulder. Switch to the other side. And then release. Now I know you're still sitting on a prop, so let's come off of that prop, back down onto the mat for a moment. We'll take the legs into either Sukhasana or Siddhasana. But I think since we were talking so much about control and the solar plexus, that's the fire element, remember? The yoga poses that correlate to that chakra are going to gently twist the digestive system. So we need to add a twist here to allow the sequence to kind of match our theme. So sit up nice and tall. Left hand's coming across to the right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, take a fabulous twist to the right and hold. On your exhale, you'll come back to center. The arms will just sweep across to switch places, but stop in the middle to sit up tall. Exhale on the, or a twist on the exhale is what I meant to say. When you're ready, release to center and just close your eyes. Let's go within for a moment. A little check-in. So we talked about what we might let go of today, and if it's okay with you to let go of something, can you really commit to that? Perhaps you draw in a deep breath and just imagine you're exhaling it away. Whenever you commit to releasing something, I really want you to commit to then feeling this beautiful warmth and lightness sweep into that space. You should be rewarded. So I want you to fill that space with a really happy, wonderful feeling. That might be different for all of us, but I really do feel it's essential. That is your gift to yourself. And then sitting up really tall through the spine, dropping the shoulders, make them really heavy. Go ahead and drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And then very gently let the head fall forward and roll it to the other side. Let's do that a couple of times. When you're ready, bring the head to center, and then let's find some props, shall we? Definitely the bolster or a pillow or whatever you're using in place of a bolster. I think I want to grab both blocks. So if you don't have any blocks, but you do have a bolster or a pillow, let's just prop the bolster up on its edge so it's higher. If you do have two blocks, let's put them out there at their medium height and put the bolster up on top. I want to move my strap out of my way. I want the blanket as a pillow or a neck roll. That's up to you. And then we're going to get the calves right up on top of that bolster. Get your blanket just right. Close your eyes. Let out a loud sigh. Release. I think one of the other interesting aspects of Nataraja holding destruction and creation is it kind of reminds me of, well, I was going to say it reminds me of the death card in the tarot deck, which usually refers to just something ending. And when something ends, it gives us room, of course, for something new, right? That's the other aspect, that creation aspect. So, if something has ended in your world, a lot of people have lost their jobs, but it doesn't even have to be related to what I like to refer to as the external world. It can be something totally different, more personal. If you feel like something has shut down, a door is closed, I want you to look at the creation aspect. Here, Shiva's drum beating, that has a life to it. It has a vibration to it. And frankly, the beating of a drum is the sound of the root chakra. Your root chakra is about security. That is also where fear lingers. So if the chakra is imbalanced, we've already talked about, fear entering our world, but take ownership and hear that drum, the drum beat that offers the vibration of change. What would you like to change? We talked about Natarajasana, dancer pose, standing on one leg, the chest is bowed out over the ground, one leg is extending behind you while you're hanging on to it and the other arm forward. That pose is about self-mastery, and it's about humility. So every little pose we do, there's something to learn from it. This statue has a lot of symbolism to take away with. Like, what did I say today that, feels applicable to you? That feels like a little seed got planted, and yes, that made sense. And yes, I need to stand on my own dwarf of ignorance and move forward. In a previous class, we talked about the koshas, and one of them was the wisdom kosha. That's the layer, or one of our energy layers that wants us to keep learning. That directly relates to what we've been talking about, right? Everything tied together. That's what fascinates me. We're staying here for a few more breaths. I know you're totally comfortable, so I hate to make you move. In fact, I might join you. All right, let's take advantage of being in this fabulous pose. We talked about letting go of control. Solar plexus, third chakra, it's about 3 finger widths above the belly button. In fact, will you put a hand there or both of your hands? And in exercising letting go of control, I want you to first find it. So instead of 3-part breathing, and all pranayama is about taking control over the breath, I only want you to breathe into the second part of 3-part breathing, right where your hands are. Can you limit your inhale and exhale to this space? It's going to be challenging, but so is, our nature to want to have control. That's challenging in itself when you can't have it. So if we're willing to go there, why not give this a shot? Okay, try to work that breath right underneath the hands. One little tip for you, it might be easier if you consider the breath to be 3-dimensional and you breathe outwardly into the ribs. How about 2 more breaths? And then just let the breath be. Now I'm wondering if that was hard for you to do. If so, good. I mean, this whole theme really has been about, remember, grace through chaos. So if it was really hard for you, were you still able to stay calm about it? Or did your head take you into frustration, right? Okay, go ahead and hug the knees in. So we're going to be heading into Shavasana. If you were happy where we were and you just want to stretch your legs back out on top of that bolster, totally fine. If you need to come back up to rearrange your props, that is also fine. Or you can just use your feet to knock things over and move them around. Whatever makes you happy. When you find that happy place, close your eyes. Now, take a deep inhale. Hold it. Feel that pressure, feel the tension in the body. When I say exhale, you let everything go, every muscle, every bone. Exhale, let it go. Please let go of the need for control in Shavasana. Everything softens here. The mind softens. There's no reason to be thinking of anything right now. There's plenty of time for that later. Did you let go of what you wanted to? Do you still want the opportunity to do so? Then just guide yourself. Deep breath in, exhale, let it all go. But don't forget to gift yourself that beautiful light feeling afterwards. And again, if this is the day to simply acknowledge what needs to be let go of, but we're not ready to let go, that is okay. Inhaling love, right, and compassion. So I leave you to your own Shavasana, and I will come back for you. You'll hear my voice drawing you back out when it's time. Keeping your eyes closed, slowly raise your hands to come to rest very peacefully over the eyes. Use your thumbs to massage the temples. Deep inhale. As you exhale, let the arms slip away. Take your focus into the right hand and imagine the fingers moving. Just imagine it. And then allow them to move. And as the right hand finds stillness, take your focus to the left hand and imagine the fingers moving. And then allow the fingers to move. And then relaxing the left hand, take your focus down into both feet, imagining that the toes are wiggling. And then allow the toes and the feet to move. Try to keep your eyes closed as you hug the knees into the heart. And then just roll over to a side in a nice tucked fetal position. And again, try to keep your eyes closed as you make your way back up. Strong inhale through the nose. Loud exhale through the mouth. And then inhale both arms up. Bring the palms together and release them home to your heart. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when you're in that place in you and I'm in that place in me, then we become one. Namaste.